All right, let's jump right into today's deep dive. We're going behind the scenes to see what it's really like to be a product manager.
Yeah.
We're basing this deep dive on a blog post by Frank O'Neill.
Okay.
It's called The Life of a Product Manager, Dynamic and Multifaceted. He published it pretty recently on January 13th, 2025.
Yeah.
So get ready to see how all those apps and gadgets that you use every day actually come to life.
You know, this deep dive is going to be super interesting for anyone who's ever been curious about what goes on in the tech industry.
Yeah.
Or even thinking about a career in product management.
Right?
Because we're going to be looking at how those initial sparks of an idea actually get turned into real, tangible products that you can use.
So Frank breaks down a typical day for a product manager into three main areas:
Okay.
meetings, strategic work, and tactical work.
Yeah.
And the first thing that really jumped out at me was just how much time product managers spend in meetings.
Oh, absolutely. Meetings are essential in product management. You can think of a product manager almost like the conductor of an orchestra.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, they have to make sure that all the different sections of the orchestra are working together
Yeah.
in harmony to create this beautiful symphony. And that's what product managers do. They bring together all these different teams, design, engineering, marketing to
Right.
make sure that everyone's on the same page and working towards that same goal.
I love that analogy. So let's break down these meetings a bit further. Frank talks about several different types,
Yeah.
starting with, company-wide meetings like town halls or big project kickoff meeting.
Right. Those are kind of like setting the stage for the whole orchestra. Everyone needs to understand the overall vision and priorities for the product.
Makes sense. Then there are the one-on-one meetings,
Yes.
which I imagine are super important for building relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about making sure that you're regularly connecting with your stakeholders, your designers, your engineers, your own manager, making sure that everyone feels heard and understood.
Okay, yeah. And then you've got the more engineering-focused meetings, like sprint planning, daily stand-ups,
Yeah.
retrospectives, and then those big kickoff meetings for major feature launches.
This is where that agile development process really shines.
Yeah.
It's like a series of mini concerts where you're constantly practicing and refining different sections of the symphony.
Okay, I like that. So all these different types of meetings are really starting to paint a picture for me of how everything fits together. But we're not done yet.
No, we're not.
There are also product-focused meetings.
Right.
So what's the purpose of those?
It's all about making sure that both the orchestra and the audience are on the same page.
Okay.
Roadmap presentations, for example, are super important for keeping everyone informed about where the product's headed.
Right.
Product town halls are a great way to brainstorm and get feedback internally.
Yeah.
And then customer calls, that's where you're actually getting input directly from the people who are going to be experiencing this symphony, so to speak.
It's like getting a standing ovation during a performance,
Yeah.
You know you're doing something right.
Exactly.
But Frank also mentions project meetings and cross-functional meetings.
Yes.
So what's the difference between those two?
So project meetings bring together specific teams,
Okay.
maybe the string section and the percussion section of the orchestra,
Got it.
to work on these, long-term initiatives. It's about managing dependencies, making sure that everyone's moving in sync.
Yeah, so everything's coordinated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have cross-functional meetings,
Yeah.
which bring in other teams that are essential to the product's success, like marketing, security, customer support, sales, even research.
Wow, that's a lot of different sections of the orchestra.
It is, but it's all about making sure that the concert hall's ready, the tickets are sold, and the audience knows when to applaud.
So basically, all these meetings are about creating this harmonious symphony of development.
Exactly.
It's not just about being a skilled conductor, it's about being a master communicator.
You need to be able to clearly articulate your vision.
Yeah.
You have to listen to feedback from all these different stakeholders.
Right.
And ultimately, you need to build consensus.
That makes sense. But why are all these meetings so important? It's got to be more than just keeping everyone in the loop, right?
Absolutely. It's much more than just sharing information. These meetings are all about alignment, communication, and making sure that everyone is rowing in the same direction.
It's like making sure everyone in the orchestra is playing the same song at the same tempo, right? Otherwise, it's just chaos.
Exactly. And a product manager's ability to facilitate these meetings effectively is crucial for keeping projects on track.
Okay, so we've navigated this meeting-heavy landscape,
We have.
but we've only just scratched the surface of what it's like to be a product manager.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
So let's move on to the next movement in our symphony. Strategic work.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. All right, so we've seen just how much of a product manager's day is spent in meetings.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But now we're moving on to the strategic side of things. This is where a product manager gets to really think big picture.
Right, like the architect of the product.
Exactly. So how does a product manager even begin to tackle something as big as strategy?
Well, Frank O'Neill actually breaks it down into a few key elements in his blog post.
Okay, what are those?
First, you have to align with the company's priorities.
That makes sense. You can't just build whatever you want,
Right? It's like if you were building a house, you wouldn't start adding rooms and features without first understanding the homeowner's overall vision and budget.
Yeah, you need to make sure the foundation is solid before you start building anything on top of it.
Exactly. So a product manager needs to understand the company's overarching goals. What problem are they trying to solve? What market are they trying to reach? What value are they trying to deliver?
Okay, and once they have that understanding,
then they can start to craft a product roadmap that fits into that bigger picture.
So alignment with the company vision is step one.
Right.
What comes next?
Research, and not just like skimming a few headlines. A product manager needs a deep understanding of market trends and customer feedback.
So they're constantly reading industry reports and looking at competitor products.
Absolutely. They're also talking to customers, analyzing usage data, and basically just trying to get a pulse on what's happening in the market.
It kind of sounds like being a detective, you know?
Yeah.
You're gathering clues and trying to predict the future.
That's a great way to put it. You got to be one step ahead of the game, anticipating what customers will want next. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of research, understanding the user.
Okay, tell me more about that.
It's not enough to just look at numbers and charts. A product manager needs to truly empathize with the user. What are their needs? What are their pain points? What are they trying to achieve?
And how do they get that information?
By talking to them. Conducting user interviews, reading customer feedback, analyzing user behavior, all of that helps build a richer understanding of the user.
So you've got the company vision, you've done your research, and you have a deep understanding of your users. What happens next?
Time to put pen to paper, or pixels to screen, I guess, and start creating the product roadmap.
The roadmap. This is where it all starts to come together, right?
Exactly. But it's not just about listing out features you want to build. You also have to socialize the roadmap with all the different stakeholders.
What does that mean?
It means presenting your plan to the different teams, getting their feedback, making sure everyone's on board with the direction you're proposing.
Like a dress rehearsal before the big concert.
Exactly. You got to make sure all the musicians are in sync and ready to play their part.
Okay, so we've got alignment with company priorities, thorough research, and socializing the roadmap. Is that everything?
Well, there's one more crucial piece. Strategic thinking.
This is where the visionary part of being a product manager comes in.
Absolutely. This is where you get to be creative, think outside the box, and come up with those innovative solutions that will set your product apart.
So it's not just about following the data.
Data is important, but it can only take you so far. You also need to be able to anticipate future trends and think about how your product can evolve to meet those needs.
So it's a balancing act.
Exactly. Data-driven decisions on one side and then creative vision on the other. And finding that sweet spot is what makes a truly great product manager.
This is all starting to sound very challenging, but also incredibly rewarding.
It definitely is. It's not easy, but it's the kind of work that can make a real difference in people's lives.
And I imagine that feeling of seeing your product out in the world, being used by real people, that must be amazing.
Oh, it definitely is. It makes all those long hours and tough decisions worth it. But remember, we're not done yet.
Oh, right. We still have to see how those big ideas get translated into actual actions.
Exactly. That's where the tactical work comes in.
All right, let's dive into the nitty-gritty details of making those strategic visions a reality. Welcome back, deep divers. It's time for the final act of our product management journey. We've talked about meetings, we've explored the strategy.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get our hands dirty and see how those big ideas actually get transformed into a real product.
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. It's all about taking those strategic visions and turning them into something tangible.
Okay, I'm ready. Where do we even begin?
Like any good adventure, we start with research.
More research, but we already covered that in the strategy section.
Yeah, but this time we're going deeper.
Okay.
We're not just looking at the market as a whole.
Okay.
We're really trying to understand the specific needs that this product is going to address.
So zooming in on the finer details.
Exactly. We need to identify those specific customer pain points, figure out what makes our solution unique.
So instead of just saying people need to listen to music,
Right.
we're saying people need a way to listen to music on the go without carrying around a bulky CD player.
That's a great example. It's about getting really granular with your understanding. And to do that, a product manager might conduct user interviews, analyze product usage data, even run A/B tests to see what features really resonate with users.
I've heard of A/B testing, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Sure. So imagine you're the product manager for a music streaming app,
Okay.
and you're trying to decide between two different designs for the now playing screen.
Hmm.
With A/B testing, you could show version A of the screen to half your users
Okay.
and version B to the other half.
Got it.
And then you track things like engagement and listening time to see which version performs better.
So it's like a scientific experiment for your product.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for making data-driven decisions.
Okay, so we've got the research. We know what needs we're trying to address. What's next?
Now we need to translate those needs into a clear set of requirements for our engineering and design teams.
So like a blueprint for building the house.
Precisely. We need to be very specific about what we're building, how it should work, and when it needs to be ready. And these requirements need to be smart.
Smart?
Yeah. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Got it. So it's not just, we need a feature that lets users share playlists.
No, we need to go much deeper than that. How will the playlist sharing work? What platforms will it be available on? What are the technical limitations?
Okay, so the blueprint is ready. Can we start building now?
Almost. We need a plan first. That's where release planning comes in.
Okay, so this is like creating the construction schedule.
Exactly. We break down the project into phases, prioritize features, and set realistic timelines for each release.
But sometimes you can't build everything you want, right? Especially if you have limited time and resources.
That's right. And that's where a product manager's negotiation and communication skills really come into play. They need to be able to have tough conversations, explain trade-offs, and find creative solutions that work for everyone.
That sounds challenging.
It can be,
Yeah.
but it's also very rewarding, especially when you see all the pieces coming together.
Okay, so we've got the research, the requirements, the release plan. What else is there?
Well, now it's time to bring in the design team. This is where the visual aspects of the product come to life.
So the user interface, the overall look and feel, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And this is a very collaborative process. Product managers work closely with designers, providing feedback on wireframes, prototypes, and constantly making sure that the design is aligned with the user's needs.
Okay, so the product is starting to take shape. We're getting close, right?
We are, but there are still a few things left to do before we can launch. This is where we focus on the technical solutions, the pre-launch activities, and customer management.
Okay, break those down for me.
Sure, so technical solutions involve working with the engineers to make sure that everything is built correctly.
Right, because sometimes what you want to build isn't actually feasible from a technical standpoint.
Exactly. So you need to find that balance between what's ideal and what's actually possible within the constraints of your technology and your budget.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about pre-launch activities?
This is where you get everything ready for the big day.
Like marketing and PR.
Exactly. You're working with the marketing team to build excitement for the launch, you're creating user guides and documentation, and you're training your customer support team so they're ready to answer any questions.
It's like setting the stage for the big performance.
Exactly. And then finally, we have customer management. This is all about making sure that your users have a great experience with your product.
So it's not just about building the product and launching it. It's about continuously supporting and improving it based on user feedback.
Exactly. You're monitoring product performance, you're collecting feedback, and you're using those insights to make the product better over time.
Wow, it really is a never-ending cycle, isn't it?
It is, but that's what makes it so dynamic and exciting.
So after this incredible deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that being a product manager is a truly multifaceted role. It's not just about having great ideas, it's about having the skills and the drive to bring those ideas to life.
It's about being a leader, a communicator, a strategist, a problem solver, all rolled into one.
Exactly. And it's a role that's constantly evolving, which means you need to be adaptable, always learning, and passionate about creating great products.
And next time you're using your favorite app or gadget, take a moment to think about all the work that went into it.
Yes. All those meetings, all those strategic decisions, all those late nights spent coding and designing. It's truly a team effort.
Well said. Well, deep divers, that concludes our exploration into the world of product management. We hope you've enjoyed this journey with us.
We had fun.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those curiosity gears turning.